and welcome to the Valentine's Day edition of Sports Time live on Pan African TV with me, Eve Edwards. Now, tonight I have in the studios, I have Delali Frank Aute. He's back with us here. I have Ruben Ado and then Michael. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too. So how are we celebrating the Valentine's Day?
We do sports time. After that, we'll go to the stadium for Lagos City's game. But on Pan African TV premises too, there's a Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Swift
Right
are
after
organizing
this
a
show.
Valentine, a Swift Valentine. So right after here, those of us that will go to the stadium will go. Those of us that will stay and watch, I can still feel that they are still playing the song, and we'll blend them. So after the Lagos City's game with Wendy Shea, they will come and continue at Pan Africa. So it's with a single boys. Yeah.
Are you sure you are single?
Yeah.
All right. Now coming up tonight, we'll be looking at the Ghana Premier League match day 10. We'll be previewing some of the big matches coming on this weekend. We'll also be talking about the CAF Super Cup, that is Esperance and Zamalek, which will be happening this evening in Doha. And also we'll be looking at the EPL top lineup between Chelsea and Manchester United. But before then, let's go for our feature story for today. I'll be back. Stay tuned.
Midiama Sporting Club, which modestly began as Kesben FC, was instituted on April 18, 2002 by Stephen Kwabena Boateng, known in business circles as Kwabena Kese. In 2011, famed and iconic business mogul Moses Ama alias Mos Parker bought the club and renamed it Midiama, which connotes my brother in the Nzima dialect. The Takwa-based club, nicknamed Yellow and Mauves, has never give up as its endearing motto. The team won the FA Cup twice in 2013 and 2015. Bashar Kweku Hayford, Yusuf Abubakar of blessed memory, Johannes Franciscus van der Plume, Augustine Evans Adote, Thomas Marcus Christian Strand, Prince Yao Owusu, and Roberto Carlos Pauletti are some notable gaffers who once handled the side. Midiama Sporting Club, which modestly began as Kesben FC, was instituted on April 18, 2002 by Stephen Kwabena Boateng, known in business circles as Kwabena Kese. In 2011, famed and iconic business mogul Moses Ama alias Mos Parker bought the club and renamed it Midiama, which connotes my brother in the Nzima dialect. The Takwa-based club, nicknamed Yellow and Mauves, has never give up as its endearing motto. The team won the FA Cup twice in 2013 and 2015. Bashar Kweku Hayford, Yusuf Abubakar of blessed memory, Johannes Franciscus van der Plume, Augustine Evans Adote, Thomas Marcus Christian Strand, Prince Yao Owusu, and Roberto Carlos Pauletti are some notable gaffers who once handled the side. Midiama Sporting Club, which modestly began as Kesben FC, was instituted on April 18, 2002 by Stephen Kwabena Boateng, known in
Welcome
business.
back. You're still watching the most interactive and in-depth sports analysis show live on Pan African TV. And you can follow us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's Sports Time on Pan African TV. Instagram and Twitter is Sports Time GH. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sports Time on Pan African TV. And we are streaming live on Facebook at Sports Time on Pan African TV page. Sports Time on Pan African TV page. So you can log on there and then watch us as well. Send in your comments as well, and then I'll read them for you. Now, the Esperance and Zamalek game is ongoing, and already Zamalek is leading with 1 goal. Now, Frank, let me start with you. Already, Zamalek.
I'm just excited with the fact that the game is being played outside Africa, because we had even the Spanish La Liga trying their possible best to move the league, some of their games away from Spain. It's good when it comes to sports tourism. It's good to take African football and any football game out of your comfort zone. We saw in boxing where they staged the historic the rematch of Anthony Joshua's bout against Andy Ruiz in somewhere Saudi Arabia. So it's something good for African football. So looking at the fact that we don't have a good image, it's always good that you take it there, and this is an environment that the World Cup will also be happening. So it's always good that we try our possible best to rehearse that, and taking the Super Clash there is one that is exciting. But the game is soft. I'm excited with one Ghanaian in there, Kwame Bonsu, but unfortunately he had Zamalek went and lead in the first 2 minutes, and unfortunately for Esperance, who have been the dominating side, have had enough chances, they created enough chances, but failed to score. And one fell in the hands of our very good friend in the Ghanaian, Kwame Bonsu, who unfortunately could not score. But if you watch the game and how both teams have performed this season, it's easy for you to say that probably Esperance stands a greater chance of winning. But Zamalek, obviously, you know how they play, and once in games like this, once you get an early goal, I believe that the early goal, because it was as early as 2 minutes, and that's unsettled as Esperance, which I'm sure that in the second, because they are playing the second half now, which they need to be careful, take their chances. The unfortunate thing is that when the game travels to the 11th hour, the players become jittery and a bit, they want to score, and you end up missing so many chances, and that is what Esperance are struggling with now. They just need to calm down and probably get their possible chance and make sure that they score. But for outside the pitch, I think it's a very good moment for CAF as well, because they've had a lot of off-pitch issues, and if they manage to stage a historic game like this in Qatar, that is one that we all need to be excited about. But I'll be happy if Esperance wins, just because of Kwame Bonsu's factor, and probably he will get a goal, because I remember back then when Esperance had Ghanaian Harrison Affo, he scored one important goal for them to win the CAF Champions League. So maybe Kwame Bonsu also being there might get an important equalizer for them, and maybe the game will travel to penalties or extra time that we'll get to enjoy ourselves. But for now, Zamalek looks like favourites who are going to win, because they are leading by 1 goal. And in games like this, I always say that you don't need to play brilliantly to win. The most important thing is getting the goal and scoring, and that is what they did. They got an early goal as early as 2 minutes when Esperance had unsettled. They managed to get the goal, and they decided to pack the bus. And although Esperance looks like the favourites who wants to score the goal, they are doing everything possible, but just that they are not getting the right finishing. And sometimes you get punished when you put a lot of men up front. When you are leading, you try to put a lot of men up front. You move ahead, you put a lot of men up front. You leave a lot of spaces, and if your opponent is quite intelligent and smart, you just capitalize on you and win. But I expect Esperance to regroup. At least they just started the second half of the game. Maybe a goal, obviously a goal is just scored in a second, so probably things might change. But as it stands now, it's just 1-0 against Esperance.
Yeah. And I'm excited about one thing, that this time around it's playing on a neutral ground, where we'll not be having the issues that we had the last time.
Somehow we're off the VR and the likes. Yeah, so it's good.
With all the buhaha, this time
good,
around.
At least the fact that we are playing, it's out of our comfort. And I think last year's editions too as well was played out of. I think from now to 2022, right? Yes, 3 years. So there's something good, because Qatar themselves also use it as dress rehearsals to prepare for the World Cup, the Mundial itself. So once they are using the African continent, and Africa ourselves, we need it. CAF needs it a lot, because they've gone through a lot of up-pitch issues. Like when it comes to the politics in CAF, someone said CAF literally went under normalization recently when Fatima came to help them. So you could clearly tell that CAF as a football governing body has a lot of problems so far as off-pitch issues. And today they released 2 press statements so far as corruption is concerned. There are so many information that says that they've misappropriated funds, they've misused funds. You know corruption and how CAF deals with it. They've released 2 double on a day was there's such an important game going on. So you can clearly tell that if the on-pitch issues are working, probably it will take the attention of the media. And because when you go on the internet, when you go on Twitter, everybody is just following. We are here talking about the game instead of talking about the corruption issues that it has been leveled against them. So if CAF tries its possible best to make sure that things that needs to happen on the pitch are working well, then we can take our minds a bit off and they will probably have the opportunity to sort certain things. But you tell me something that I'm excited about this administration, that they managed to take the Super Clash from the winner of the Champions League home grounds to a neutral ground that will be a bit neutral, and taking it to a different environment like Qatar, which will give at least the world a feel. And that's why we are all excited about it, the fact that Kotoko's game is also being taken away, because when sports is tourism, in as much as it's about 3 points, it moves away from just playing on the pitch to a moment where people need to make money and see it as a means of tourism. And England started doing that. The Champions League has always been doing that. They tried their possible best to travel the finals of the Champions League out of the world to a point that the Europa League was played in somewhere Turkey. So we hope that it will continue and it will be an exciting moment.
Yeah, Ruben, Zamalek, they are leading by a long goal.
Yes, the last time Zamalek played in the CAF Super Cup was way back 2002 when they inflicted a 3-1, defeat on Wydad Casablanca. I remember they came here in 2000. They lost to Habsburg. Otokista brought them here. And in 1998, when ASEC won the Champions League for the very first time, a youthfully talented and unpredictable ASEC team, fielding the likes of Kolo Toure and Co, inflicted a 2-1 defeat on them. So for Zamalek, I'm excited that they are playing in the CAF Super Cup, and perhaps they might turn up as winners, because
as far as we will not to cut you. As far as I was telling you, they have the better team. So they are creating more chances. Unfortunately for them, they are just missing them.
But I would wish
unfortunately
that,
for them, they managed to get to the goal.
Zamalek wins, because what is fit for Nkrumah is fit for Fati. Being a bit biased, I would wish that they win. Fortunately for Esperance, they've won the CAF Champions League in 2 successive years. And their manager, Moeni Chabani, is still at the helm. The manager who lifted the 2019 edition of the CAF Confederation Cup left Zamalek. That's Christian Jürgen Gross, Switzerland. Then his opposite number, Patrice Carteron, has won this competition before, so he wants to win it with Zamalek, for the records. But I would tip the White Knights to win, because if what is fit for Nkrumah is equally fit for Fatia, I believe that the White Knights, who last played in this competition way back 2002, stands a better chance of winning. And today is February 14th, and for the sake of our viewers, I think it's fitting and proper for us to delve into history. I mean, on February 14th, Real Sportif, who formerly played in Ghana's top flight, was packed. I remember those days when they used to play in the Premiership. The likes of Isaac Kudo Bansin were at the helm. And it's a club which nurtured the likes of Hamza Abdullahi, Latina Wako, and SP Kapana. On the same day, 1987, Edison Roberto Cavani Gomez was born. Then the year after, it was the turn of Angel Fiden Di Maria Hernandez. 1992, Christian Denman Eriksson, the inherently stubborn ex-Tottenham Hotspur winger, now with the Internazionale Milano, was born. And in 1996, Lucas Bernard Francois Hernandez, World Cup winner with Leblanc, was also born.
Interesting. That's some good history that it's very difficult to keep in the
Michael,
head.
it's now 1-1. Your take on that, then we move on to the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah, I think that I expected that, and before that, a very good evening and Vows Day. Happy Vows Day to each and everyone, especially the fans of Sports Time, and we always want to, I'm sure probably I'm representing them with something, a touch of red, unlike any of you here. Anyway, so for those two games, that game seemed to be one game that I was really looking up to, and I'm sad for the fact that we still not seem to be having the West African representatives in there, as we discussed last week, and it's surprising that this CAF Champions League that we're playing, or the Super Cup, being one that it has always been dominant, or the North African teams seem to be dominating it. Let's not forget, only the Egyptian teams have amassed about nine of the Super Cup, and clearly it tells you that football seems to be taking the attention, or they seem to be doing better than we do as when it comes in terms of club football. There's the likes of El Ali winning 6, Zamalek winning 3, and also you talk about few, but you only talk about West Africa in recent times. You talk about Heart of Oak that has won 1, and it's really not encouraging. But I would also want to look at the fact, the other side of it, and I think that football seems to be now looking at a point whereby marketing seems to be, or teams are trying to, you know, penetrate through, you know, that kind of obscure market where they are able to go to other sides of the world and be able to, you know, get the attention of the world, build sponsorship or build, you know, support base, and also have, you know, a very good effect on the output of their finances. Let's not forget the likes of Manchester United. Now teams would hardly want to, you know, have their pre-season in their own backyard. You know, you would want to see them moving to the Africans and the Asian side where they would be able to, you know, get the best of points, or they'll be able to, you know, get the best of attraction from the other side of the world. And I'm not surprised that in Doha now we're having you know, a side of the world. Doha now seems to be hosting, you know, the Super Cup, and clearly, as my brother Frank said, it's on a positive note that it would, you know, bring much more attention to the team, or to the national team that is hosting this the Mundial. So clearly, I'm happy for them. Let's not forget that this Mazembe side, or this Espanyol side that we see, I must say Espanyol, the Esperance side that we've seen today, likely having the likes of, you know, Koulibaly in the midfielder, having the likes of Kenichi, that kind of the Tunisian striker. I would want to see if he started, and having the likes of you know, our very own Kwame Bonsu, formerly of Asante Kotoko, in there, having that they possess that kind of experience that, you know, will be able to on any day be able to, you know, help them. But let's not forget, history stands against them. In their last, you know, 4 wins of the, you know, the CAF Confederations Cup or the CAF Champions League, they've not been able to win the Super Cup, and clearly they've lost 3 and won just 1, and that is the opposite of what Zamalek has. Zamalek has been able to win 3 and just lost just 1. So clearly, it looks like the Super Copa seem to be in the side of that of Zamalek when it comes to that. But also, let's not forget that things have changed in recent time. Gone are the days that we had, you know, the winner of the CAF Champions League. The final was played in the territory of the winner of the CAF Champions League. So then the team who won the CCC, the CAF Confederations Cup, would join or would move to the opposing ground. But now it isn't so anymore. Now we are trying to leverage on the outside ground. So I don't know how the game will pan out, but since, you know, Esperance has equalized, normally momentum lies on the side of the team that has been able to, you know, come back into that game to be able to, you know, get the other points. And let's not forget that you know, at least even not for anything, they won the Champions League. Here is, you know, a certain Zamalek who just won against Bekani, and so it's a good point.
Unfortunately, Zamalek just scored, and the goal was assisted by Kwame. I think Kwame Bonsu was having a bad day that he has been substituted in the 60th minutes. He had the ball, and he just gave a 40 pass, and he went for another attack. He fell on the way, and Esperance Zamalek managed to get the goal. I think he has had a bad day, literally a bad day. The last 60 minutes has been bad, and he has been substituted. I don't know, probably
30 minutes, so probably Esperance will just come back, equalize.
Let's hope so, because they had the best performance and they equalized. It was a true penalty that they managed to score. And Kwame Bonsu also, after they scored, just 2 minutes after they managed to get to the goal, Kwame Bonsu. It's just unfortunate that the Ghanaian that we were expecting to be involved in scoring at the other end rather assisted the opponents to get the goal. But it's just one of the bad days at the office.
Interestingly, both teams will be playing on the 29th. They've been played against each other in the CAF Champions League quarterfinals. So let's see how it pans out.
Yeah, maybe there will be some kind of.
Should Esperance win, I think it will be a fitting, you know, revenge for the loss they suffered. You know,
I'm actually rooting for Esperance.
Obviously,
because of my relationship with my fellow Tunisians, my friends are just.
Esperance in the 1995 CAF Champions League finals.
Yeah.
I think that they are out there for revenge. So I expect Zamalek to win.
Yeah, but I think we've just played, I think 65 minutes. Things can change.
So things can change, of course.
Esperance hold up
until the 90 minutes.
Yeah. Until the final.
The
anything
reason
can
is blown.
happen.
You can never predict. Yesterday,
Exactly.
AC Milan versus Juventus. You expected that Juventus would have been able to come, you know, at that dynamic of the game.
I never even imagined that it was going to happen.
You see, and if they should lose, it's better than the team, you know, drawing. You know, if anybody will tell you, those folks who go to the big house, they'll tell you that it's better that team loses or before a draw comes in. You will definitely not want to go for a win or draw for Juventus. You want to go for a straight win. So that is how bad it can be.
Exactly. You're still watching the most interactive and in-depth sports analysis show live on Pan African TV. We are streaming live on Facebook at Sports Time on Pan African TV page. Do subscribe to our channel, YouTube channel, Sports Time on Pan African TV. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's Sports Time GH. Now the Ghana Premier League has entered week 10, and we have interesting matches coming on already. 2 of the matches are coming on today. Already 11 Wonders are leading King Faisal by 2-1. Legon Cities and Great Olympics will be playing match later today. Now tomorrow we have Bekum Chelsea facing Inter Allies. We have and on Sunday, we have Asante Kotoko playing Ash Gold. We have Hearts of Folk welcoming Bechem United at the Accra Sports Stadium. Liberty Professionals will play Adriana Stars. Midiama will also play Elmina Sharks, and Ebusia Dwarfs will welcome Karela United. Now, Dreams FC will also be playing on Sunday. Now, quickly, Michael, Ghana Premier League week 10.
King Faisal's game ended 2-1 in favor of 11 Wonders.
Yeah, so the game has already ended, and then 11 Wonders won by 2 goals. I don't know what is happening to King Faisal. Seriously, after all the hassle, the struggle, and all the things to come back to the Premier League.
What has been a struggle? Where do they come from? They were just there and they were told.
No, you know their issue.
Yes, we all understand.
If not number 12, they wouldn't be playing the Premier League.
Yes, so they wouldn't be. So here is a person that he wasn't prepared
just in the house.
Yeah, they took their issue to court. They threw it. It was a whole lot of things.
It's just not by your own doing. So
it's not by your doing.
It's not by your doing. So clearly, they seem not to. I've said this point blank that we've gotten to time that football needs to be taken more seriously. They lack that kind of experience, and Ruben always give you the historical, the players who have graced this team. You talk about Chipsa. You talk about Sila Ilasu.
Yeah, he's the same.
You see, you talk about
Eric Gaou.
You see,
and the likes.
You would always want to understand the fact that we are not football now. Names don't play football anymore. If football names play football, so Sada won't travel to the Bernabeu and exit or eliminate Madrid from the Copa del Rey. A certain Bilbao won't be at the San Mamés, and exit a certain Barcelona, who seems to be one of the best teams that the century has seen. So clearly, we don't use names to play football. So King Faisal, maybe we want to begin from them. I'm not surprised. I expected 11 Wonders to carry the day. Just that King Faisal seemed to try to I don't know whether try to deceive us. I won't use deceive, but maybe try to at least give themselves.
I don't think they are ready for the Premiership.
They clearly look like the team.
They are exhibiting the same form that they are exhibiting in Division 1 back.
Let's not forget they've been playing quite some nice football too. But I think that's what is most important.
They've been scoring. The surprise thing is they've been scoring and conceding.
Yeah, they have one of the worst defense in the
Premier League. And they are scoring. One of the teams that are scoring.
They scored today too as well.
So it's kind of.
See, I just think that Alhaji, I'll be blunt with Alhaji. I think Alhaji has done enough for Ghana football, not only for King Faisal, but just for football as total. And it's time for him to just take a bow out and just.
I think the talking has
not to be the talking. He just needs to. He can't do active football managing. And I've heard people. I've had people who have said that they had a consortium that was even willing to probably buy him out of the club. Not literally buy him out, but give him a percentage, so that he will not be actively involved in the day-to-day activities of football. And that is it. See, sometimes football has become a bit more scientific, and those old knowledges that we used to run football, the kind of old traditional way of running football, of using more ways and means than going technical, has gone past that. The fact that you need an expatriate coach, and once you don't have proper players, have moved away from that. Those sense of foreign taste doesn't run football again. Now football has moved away from not only having a good coach down to the amount of quality you have on the pitch, the kind of structures you have, the kind of off-pitch decisions you take. That's what the most important thing. But I think Alhaji has been involved in the club for far too long. Yes, he has done his best. But sometimes you just need to hand over the baton to someone for the person to continue the race. And I think that is what Alhaji needs to do. It's just unfortunate that where he has gotten to now, it's very difficult to get anybody to come back and invest in the club. But when he had the promotion, the club was attractive then. That's why he had companies and partners willing to probably.
There was conversation of some
people and the likes willing to buy. Have you asked yourself why it never worked? There's been so many conversations that he still wanted to be actively involved in running King Faisal, which is never possible. See, clubs that are excelling today have managed to excel because they've evolved with time, and that is what most of our Ghanaian clubs still don't do. football.
They just evolve with that. They evolve with time, resources.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So evolving involves everybody, not just still holding on to the old style of running
colloquial
football.
mentality of running the game.
King Faisal is still being run with
King
the
Faisal babies.
they are still being run with the old style of running football approach, where before you go and win a game, your money, the club owner has to come and talk to you. Challenge win the thing. If you win, I'll buy you. All those things doesn't work again. The player himself needs to be motivated enough to go on the pitch and play. Gone are the days that players needs to see the faces of the club owner. Chairman is coming. Yeah, chairman. Now we've moved past that.
And stuff.
Exactly. Players are
Remember
more
Great Olympics, how they walk. They walk with their backs to the stadium.
players are more professional now. That if you don't take care, Lagos cities will travel to Kumasi and go and beat King Faisal. The Olympics that were struggling went with as assistant coach and went to beat them 4-3
4-3
at your backyard. And he's not, Alhaji Musa is not making money from gate posts. Neither is he even making the 3 points. So what's the motivation? It's just like those that promoted you are just worried the man because he was just sitting somewhere and he was called to come. And Max said, it's just like your mother has given birth and you've been told this is your brother. You have no option than to just agree that he or she is your brother. But it's just unfortunate that a team like King Faisal is in the league and they are struggling. And once the solution is just there, Alhaji just needs to buy out, hand over the team to a group of people who can do the team very well and still make your money. It's just not, you don't need to be directly involved in business.
You can be behind the scene.
Exactly.
And
You don't need to be.
you know.
He can still talk.
You look at the Chelsea scenario where Abramovich is clearly of late not been so much.
Yes, I don't even remember the last time Abramovich came to England.
It's been quite a long time. And
but Chelsea still around.
Let's look at other games. I think one of the games I'm very particular about is Kotoko Ashgold. They are both having 17 points following each other. And I see this fixture as an interesting one that is going to make a lot of difference should any of them win. Now, Ruben, week 10.
Two of the best teams in the Ashanti region are on a collision course. And if you look
King
at
Faisal will not agree.
Ashanti Gold and Kumasi Ashanti Kotoko, in fact, matches between both teams, they don't follow guide. Guide, and they are difficult to predict. It doesn't matter the caliber of players fielded, but if you look at Kumasi and Kotoko, they struggled because after their heroics against Hearts of Oak, they are yet to win convincingly. And I think that the ban has had, a telling effect. It's affected the team psychologically, which is why perhaps they are not getting the results to appease their fans. Ashanti Gold have had their fair share of problems. The departure of Shafiu Muni has troubled the team, and the likes of Apia Makati and Mark Ejikun cannot easily slot in. Their coach Kasim Gildes, we are told, they parted ways with him, so Yakubu Sheriff Mambo will take the team to Kumasi for this fixture. I remember in 2014, Kotoko turned them forward, which then put first blood for the Porcupine Warriors. There were goals from Seydou Bansi, he notched the brace before Michael Ekufu, nailed the coffin for the visitors who grabbed their consolation through Emmanuel Osei. Then 2 years later at the Obuasi and Clay Stadium, we had an A-goal thriller. I mean, Ash Gold were 5-3 winners. It's going to be a fascinating fixture, but I would want Kotoko to win because they are playing in the absence of their fans. So one would expect that after getting that important victory at the Theatre of Dreams against Dreams FC, perhaps this will be the perfect time to silence their critics who claim that they relied on a penalty to win. They couldn't score from open play. So I would wish that Kotoko wins, but I also won't take anything away from Ashanti Gold. Ashanti Gold have been able to secure the services of some players, and I believe that those players would have to prove a point that when Siki Akono was at the helm and he was trying to transform the team into a formidable and win someone, he did a perfect job before other coaches came on board. So it's going to be an interesting tie. Ashanti Gold have always had the edge. As someone would say, non-competitive fixtures, the BK, Eduseg, and what have you. But when it comes to the league, Kotoko have been very dominant. And looking at where the match is being played, Kotoko stands as favorites. But I wouldn't be surprised should Ashanti Gold stand them. though they were quite unimpressive in their last fixture against Liberty Professionals.
Michael, Kotoko.
Yeah, I think that much has been said about Kotoko and Ashanti Good. Two Ashanti clubs, and definitely history and rich culture would be displayed in that game there. Clearly, we want to see whether it's our Boise-based team that is so much powerful or so much formidable, or talk about a certain Porcupine Warriors who seem to be one of the best teams. As maybe talk about the last 10 years on the Ghanaian football stage, you want to always talk about them. For us, they come in with the motivation that they seem to be clearly competing, 17 points apiece to the two teams there. Clearly, it's one of the leagues that I think the football. I'm happy for what is happening currently in our game, and one of the days that when it starts a league, you clearly see that Kotoko and Hartlepool will take that kind of symbolic lead ahead of the rest. But this season seems to be presenting us with something different. We're seeing how many teams, 5 teams on the league log, you know, with the same points. Then I think that the next two teams comes.
The first 3 teams have same goals.
Same goals. So clearly you cannot even maybe the only thing that can distinguish them is the prophecy that has come that the prophecy that
prophecy
how did the man of God even say it? He said never say that for a free or mafi.
Now the people they say and just over
possible. Is he
prophecies?
He's talking about the fact that those who are leading like having the same points. And then
yes, I'm saying that so clearly you could tell that this league has become very competitive,
it's
and
very
just like what we have seen the Serie A, where a certain Nerazzurri side seem to be given, the likes of Juventus who seem to have been the old weeks with respect to the Serie A. So football is taking a different, a change around, and I'm happy for what we're seeing, that the competitive nature, so that it wouldn't giving the room for people to start making speculations of match fixing and what have you. Because if you're on the same points and you even know that when you're even at the bottom of the league table, you can win a game and you'll be able to shoot yourself up the relegation zone. You wouldn't be, there would be no motivation for you to even, try to dash out a game. And that's what we see. And one of the days that you see the point difference, because the moment a team seems to be so much adrift of the colleagues, that is where they would likely want to know, I don't know, so then why don't you want to? So people start speculating, say, match in the other, or match in the match and those things. So I'm happy for what is happening. But my attention much will be on Heart of Oak. I think Kotoko, you would want to say that I would wish that Kotoko would use that one as an icing on the cake for them to be able to at least get their fans coming back the moment they finish serving the band. And let's not forget that Kotoko has been misfiring, especially when it comes to the final third of the pitch. And the likes of Richard Atta, I just can't tell what is happening. The same trouble is what the Rainbow Boys are facing. They also seem to be misfiring with 3 attackers in front for them. So I'm hearing that maybe from unofficial source that they are so much, Kotoko seem to be interested, some fans seem to be pushing the agenda of they getting the services of a certain Nigerian import, a certain Victorian Adebayo from the soccer professional that is Interlight. So clearly I would be happy to see that, but it's a clarion call to Kotoko fans that as they bounce back, the lessons they've learned, maybe should they start playing, or when they return back from their ban, they should get themselves into the stadium, because in recent times you can't buy a striker of a team with more than about less than $100,000 or so ever, and if a player of such magnitude. So I'll be happy. The game promises to be very cagey, especially being a Kumasi or the Ashanti rivalry, and I would fancy Kotoko to win or draw in that game. But if we want to talk about the other fixtures, Hartlepool, my eyes is really on that game for them to get themselves back.
Before we move on to the Manchester United Chelsea derby, let's look at the other matches, which is also coming on Sunday. We have Hearts of Oak facing Bechem United at the Accra Sports Stadium. We have Liberty Professionals, Aduana Stars, Mediama, Elmina Sharks, Ebusian Drafts, Karela, and the rest. So, Ruby,
I think we forget we are not throwing more light on the game of the evening. Olympics and
Lagos Cities.
Yeah. It is a football team against an entertainment team. And
what do you mean?
That is what somebody.
Where the entertainment team is?
The entertainment team, I actually be telling you this. They seem to be there. I'm sure you can even be their, assistant PR. I think Kwame Jumo, my lecturer, is the PRO, so you can be the assistant, because they seem to be getting the support of the women. I've seen ladies using Lagos Cities as their profile or their DPN.
The branding.
The branding and the ladies, you really like what.
But anyway, have you seen House of Folk new bus?
The 48.
I've seen a Photoshop of it, but I've not seen it.
Like
in
the real bus there.
The bus has not landed by. So I was substitute the Kandishi bus that they use. They were using probably players won't be going to the stadium and they would face probably their boots falling down through the holes in there.
I think on the game proper, I think Lagos City's game is a game against Olympics because both Lagos Cities themselves is a team that talks a lot when it comes to how they've managed to brand themselves.
Juma was talking on
Olympics too is a club that we all know how they are. They are one of the teams that they believe they own Accra. So obviously own Accra. So obviously it's a game that maybe you will not expect an exciting football, but I think is one that's maybe probably both teams. There's no rivalry, but it's an exciting game that we all enjoy. Because apart from the on-pitch issues, the fact that it's free for everybody, especially ladies, free for ladies, wear red and you get chocolate, and that is what I think is the modern way of running.
Why do they do that?
Just to make sure. Today is Valentine.
But why would you want to let the ladies enter and the gentlemen? Why man has been suffering from the beginning of creation till this time that I'll be going to the stadium. So after the show, I'll be going to the stadium with Eve. Let's say we take the same salary. Then Eve would have the chance of entering the stadium for free and taking chocolate.
Like she's a lady.
No, it is. It's affirmative action bill and what have you. It's not being fair.
See the truth, Mark. The truth is that you see. Most ladies naturally don't want to go to the stadium. That's like 90. You can't. 90% of women or ladies in Ghana will not go to the stadium in the first place. So you have to go extra to get a lady to come to the stadium.
And when you get one lady going, you get 3 gentlemen.
Exactly. And the typical. So Eve can get up one day and say, can convince all of us to go to the stadium, maybe we don't want to go, and it's possible.
She cast a spell.
Yeah, she can tell us all of us to go to the stadium, and we even pay for her transportation.
On Sunday we are all going to the
ladies have their preference.
Is it and when it happens like
stay at home and watch the Subaru cook with and all those Mexicans.
Is it so?
The expense of going to the stadium.
So before you can get them to come, and if you have a team that is women, you see when women pick something, they know how to let it move. So if you want to sell, target women, and they will convince every man, because if you get one woman, you've gotten an entire home.
Every woman controls the home.
Exactly. So when you imagine your mother is a Lagos City fan, by force your father has to support Lagos City.
You see my problem on a Val's Day like this. I don't know why I'm hearing of Wendy Shea gracing the stadium. This shouldn't be Wendy Shea.
Right.
You have the king of raps in there. I think they have one Patapa in there who could have caused the stadium by storm.
This is Valentine. Patapa would have been a perfect choice last season, but now Patapas, you see, Patapas
like
now it's
Shatawale goes and they are defeated. So why don't you take it? So we can.
I think just quick one on Ashgold against Kumasi Asante. I think this is the Kotoko last game playing behind closed door, and I spoke with Max Okunodu at the post match when they played against Dreams FC, and he said that playing behind closed with an empty stadium, although they are playing home, is a disadvantage to them. And playing a team like Ashgold at a moment where both teams have the similar point, I think Ashgold stands a greater chance of beating Kumasi Asante Kotoko, because the perfect time Ashgold will face Kumasi Asante Kotoko this season is when they are playing behind closed doors.
And Kotoko seem to be struggling at home.
At home too, as well, because they've not had the fans coming in their numbers, and obviously they will just capitalize on that.
Who are you expecting?
I expect Ashgold to win. I expect Ashgold to win because they've not been bad. I watched them recently at Accra against us. They've been very brilliant. Kotoko against Dreams FC, they were not that exciting. They just capitalized on an own goal. Obviously, it's part of the game. But Ashgold losing to a Kotoko who is playing in an empty stadium, I'll be surprised at that. And it will take a tactical genuinity on the side of Max Okunodu to be able to outshine an Ashanti Gold team who is priced up, knows clearly that if they manage to beat Kotoko, they've just brushed them off the table, and they've just moved them away behind them and moving forward. It's very important because the Adriana Stars themselves are also traveling away, and they are not a good travelers. So if they manage to get a win, they can qualify.
The table will be interesting after match.
Yes, if they manage to get a win, Adriana Stars have not been good when playing on the road. So if they manage to get a win, it will help them move forward. Because how the league table looks like, if Hasselhoff manage to even win all their last 9 games, I believe that they can even join the top 4. So it's not done yet, but Ashgold now, I don't think there'll be a perfect time to play Kotoko than now.
At play Bechim.
Yeah.
So your prediction
on
Kotoko Ashgold.
A win or draw for Kotoko.
I know you're a Kotoko fan, Ruben.
Someone will say I'm a hard one. Maybe my team is come up him.
Predict, but like I said, Ashanti Gold were not too impressive against Liberty Professionals. I mean, playing behind closed doors is a huge advantage to the miners. So I will not be surprised if Kotoko has stand.
You will not be surprised if Kotoko has signed.
Maybe you could also give attention to their rivals.
Oh, okay. All right. You're still watching Sports Time live on Pan African TV. Now, coming up, we'll be looking at the EPL top liner between Chelsea and Manchester United after this break. So stay tuned.
Hello? Okay, why? Hey, my wife comes and send a message you. Hello? What's happened?
It's a child who's be a quiet say what? I dare say,
inside from a friend, I'm so here too. You are not testing messages here, and our officer so I'm trying to tell you, she says, I
mean, so we a guy man, and may young who could look cry. And so also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's the name? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool, plumbing works in Nassau, ye be, Frey 0240-333-111, and NASA 0244-144-822.
Miampa and you want swimming pool, me see. Me want to, you be here. Family Drilling, I want Family Drilling. I'm home. I'm coming to me. Oh, and you tell me come on this. Dang.
Hasso. So when you manage to grab the Hanuma, can you carry an asset? I don't pay the answer. You remember,
oh, what happened? Try me, but what for cocoa be tennis blue and answer some legend. Young Casabe men say, what for cocoa capsules? A dray and offer two, and you minute two, and your friend say, come two, driving what in a jum was seen to me, Yuma. When my draw will be, was this in but down, I'm at the SOD, what the idea?
A drawing and ya ma a pin for, one warmer and manu for, and name more fra when you fear do me.
Ghana Faja to Munti, cover 4 Anthony Dean said, Malay.
Oh,
Ben, that prayer, Yatra Mr. Kill. Ask Rod Shewin, if Riva.
Oh, Kusia, a member draw, Ghana Limited for Akofaba, the Piasso Bomitisu, and they said, because so much down for Adolf. And what Trevor said, a draw, a Mr. Kill, Nico Cosson, and he said, no, that's over there.
It's right. Sit down, I have 1 million, and run it down and put the service on your back.
Mr. Kill. Mr. Kill.
Come in.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that here. Mr. Kill. You should back up. And not the call. You know, maybe the man from our dog. Mr. Kill. Kill back up.
Back from the commercial break. This is Sports Time live on Pan African TV, and we're streaming live on Facebook at Sports Time on Pan African TV page. Now, before we move on to the Manchester and Chelsea match, quick one on Accra Hearts of Oak and then Bechem United. Michael, let me start with you. Quick one on Hearts of Oak, then we move on to the Manchester United and the Chelsea.
I think that there's not much to be said about the game. Neo Doom seemed to be one of the, as it stands now, one of the the tactical brain that seems to be getting, you know, all the media attention. I like his post-match presser and how he's able to attribute every fault of his to his players and not him. Anything that happens on the pitch, I listened to one commentary of him that he blames the pitch for, you know, the rain for not falling, the sun for not, you know, rising when they couldn't come at the right time. He just always apportioning blame. But let's not forget, I think that being in the of affairs for the team on interim basis, he seems to be at least getting the results day in, day out. And if you're able to go away to certain clubs and get, you know, at least an appreciable score, like Neodum seem to be getting things right. I think they play against Bechem United, and Bechem will be poised up and will be motivated, and the morale will come from the point that they are playing, or Bechem is the team that defeated Hartlepool. I'm not sure, maybe I'm repetition of it, but Bechem is the team that defeated you know, I'm talking about a certain Bekum Chelsea. Bechem defeated them, so that would be a morale booster for them, that if we're able to defeat, you know, a team that defeated Hartlepool, then clearly we are on track to do something. Bechem seem to be the underdogs whenever they are playing, but they have what it takes to, you know, upset teams. Hartlepool will come into this game and understand that where they lie is critical. I think they are 10th on the league log. So they would want to ninth on the league log. So they would want to, you know, get themselves back into this, because we always know that whenever Hartlepool and Kotoko are in their prime, everybody would want to having, you know, the spirit to be drawn back to the game. So clearly, I would want them to win against a certain Bechem United, but it would really be a busy night for them, especially now they're playing 4-3-3, having the likes of Kofi Koji and that of Isol and that of Daniel Friye, but the goals are still not coming, and they would have to tweak their tactics in order for them to get themselves on their scoring booth. That has been what has been the, you know, the nemesis to their play.
I think Hearts are playing home, but if you look at how they've played
on Sunday,
if you look at how they've played,
they've had about 4 months.
Yeah, they played home and they've not been excelling at home.
Right.
Playing against Bechem, who managed to beat Bekum Chelsea, you need to be worried. And the normal sequence, I expect us to be comfortable at home and win, but I don't know what is happening to them. But I expect Neodum to get a win, because they're having an operation 9 games, and I believe that Bechem United they need to start with Bechem United. And if you want to appease your fans for not winning at home, you don't need any opponent than Bechem United. This is not Ash Gold, this is not Kumasi Asante Kotoko, neither is it the Biana Stars or Mediama. This is just the Bechem United side that you need to beat them. So Neodum, I expect him to do more. He's doing very well. The team plays beautiful football, creates a lot of chances, but unfortunately, the strikers.
This is Accra Barcelona.
Yeah, when the strikers meet the goalkeepers one-on-one, their decision and the goalkeeper decision clashes. So the goalkeeper usually.
Now your new coach Setien, I don't know what Setien is. Someone just posted. A friend of mine just posted that. Was it? Is it China or?
Is it Setien is more or less
China
like
or some country once changed their flag, and then there was no difference. Just that the other one was deep red and the other one was
like, you know, another person dying and bringing another
taken away.
But what did even Basa say about it? It was the seat in terms of, you want to talk about them, it was the seat in terms of, you know, the choice of coaches. It was the seat to be chosen. The likes, a lot of teams were running away from Barcelona because of the, you know, the headed at stake, because the pressure that would mount on you. Certain Xavi didn't accept it, because I thought he would have been able to do what Lampard is doing in Chelsea, where he came in despite not much of experience. I'm likely to say
it's not easy to come and take a team like Barcelona, Real Madrid. I mean, the expectations.
It is, but what about it? What record does he come with? The only thing we hear is that he lauded praises or shouted praises on Barcelona's style of play, and he wants Bilbao to play the same thing, and that is what, you know, got him attracted. That is his CV. So clearly, Barca seems to be, if that is what we should be, is really the case, then our club seems to be taking a really look at the league.
Quick one on Hearts of Oak.
For Hearts of Oak, it's not enough to appease or puppy their disenchanted fans. I mean, they go into this game with a major issue at stake, the profligacy of the attacking trio that in the free ban here, this Kofi Koji. It's not too good for the Phobians. And if you look at the stats, I mean 2015 when they were topping on the brink of relegation, they pipped Bechem United 1-0 thanks to Kenneth Toporo. The subsequent season, the sushi tactics of Kenichi Yasuhashi worked perfectly when Mustafa Ebuesuma and Isaac Mensah were on target in a 3-1 defeat. John Yamiche was on target for visiting Bechem United, and it was Samuel Yeboah who iced the cake. Then 2017, 4-2 it ended in Accra. They traveled all the way. In fact, 2016, when people thought that Hearts of Oak would go to the Fosu Giabopa to stand the home side, it was Abednego Kofi Tete who is now joined them, he knocked the hat-trick and Joseph
Asamoah.
So in 2017, Hearts of Oak, avenged for that defeat by thumping them 4-2 in Accra. I mean, they traveled all the way to the chain, and it took arguably, the best foreign import so far as the GPL is concerned. I stand to be corrected. At Neture.
At the Bayo is there.
No. You can't. Looking at Neture, it's exploits of Martians
in the last decade.
In the last decade, you can't compare anything. He inflicted that
Yakuba.
Defeat. Then in 2018, Hearts of Oak had to play them in Kumasi. A certain Hafiz Wontan Konkoni opened the floodgate for the Hunters because they had won the FA Cup in 2016. Then it took Patrick Razak Omotoyosi to save Hearts of Oak Flashes. So it's a tricky fixture. But after 2 successive draws, I expect Hearts of Oak to win and put smiles on the faces of their fans.
They need to win convincingly.
Of course, they need to win convincingly. And I hope that management would also hand the job to Edward Neodum on permanent basis. Because he's not somebody.
You know what I like about
the caretaker capacity.
You know what I like about his post-match comments, like especially when he loses the game. He comes there. I remember one. He comes there. He said, "Dakogu asked him, your team struggles with free kicks, and I think they are not good." No, I don't agree with you. I don't.
They're not good when it comes to
set pieces.
Now quickly, let's look at Manchester United and Chelsea. Quick one. Our time is almost up. I don't think I'll be able to open the phone lines.
I think Chelsea, Manchester United, both teams that are not performing well, and everybody have forgotten that they are playing. To be honest, like they are not playing for anything. Chelsea looks as if the EPL now looks like, apart from Manchester City, Tottenham, Spurs, Manchester City and Liverpool, the rest are just Arsenal themselves don't know what they are doing. So Chelsea can just lose the entire season games and even maybe still make it to the top 4. And I think that's what maybe they need to check. Frank Lampard talked about the fact that Hakim Ziyech to be a good guy in addition, but unfortunately they won't get him. And they're struggling to get goals. United themselves have brought in John Igalo because they will need to get more goals. They have Bruno Fernandes that they are hoping to change the teams for them. But Frank Lampard have lost to Manchester United twice this season, and I'm sure that he'll be hoping to get a good win at Stamford Bridge. Unfortunately for him, he has not been excelling well to at Stamford Bridge. So it's just one of the games that you just go and sit down and see if probably things can change. But it's just normal. Don't expect anything from them. You just go and play and just miss and break your heart.
Ruben, quick one. Our time is almost up.
Chelsea have a clear task ahead of them. They will be playing Bayern Munich. So this should be a dress rehearsal. To prove skeptics wrong, that they still have what it takes to upset the big guns. Playing against Manchester United, there is all to play for. After that heartbreak, on match day 1, this is the perfect time for them to appease their fans. They've lost to Manchester United twice, and the inclusion of Bruno Fernandes and Odion Igalo would seem to work in favor of United. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says he's not afraid of the sack, and Ed Woodward has also come under fierce criticism to revitalize the team and perhaps bring on some equally good materials, to make Manchester United that formidable and winsome side it used to be some seasons back. So I would wish that Chelsea wins because it's not looking too good for Frank Lampard, and they will use it as a perfect dress rehearsal for that unpredictable but difficult tie against Bayern Munich in the UEFA Champions League.
All right, Mike, quick one.
Yes, quickly. Much has been said. The two teams, Europa staring at Manchester United and that of the Champions League staring at Chelsea. Chelsea understand what it takes to play in the Champions League. They will not want to really commit because they know that the league is there to play for, but the Champions League seems to also be there staring at them. So they would want to get their things right with respect to their formation as to who they would want to start, and they will try to avoid injuries because already I see some 6-goal trailer probably at the Stamford Bridge against a certain Bayern Munich side who clearly they seem to be a wounded lion. Yeah, so that's why I understand that anything. Bayern is one team that they are ruthless. When they are on top of their game, expect nothing.
But I will not be surprised if Chelsea knock them out.
All right.
Out of the Champions League or what?
It's possible.
You come back to the wins.
Chelsea will not.
Anyway, so I think that would be a good game.
It's possible, though.
Oh, yeah,
it's possible. Bayern Munich is not a Bayern Munich we used to know. Come on, it's possible. It's possible. Your own Chelsea.
And history will favor Chelsea.
Dion
Your own team. The finals.
Dion is able to, PSG seem to be winning against us, but Dion is the only team that's able to beat them. And Dion seems to be a relegation threatening side. So I believe the Blue stands.
I have some messages. Let me read. This one says, Eve, I'm enjoying your show, but my only advice to the young guy sitting on your left hand, tell him Hearts of Folk is not just a mere team which will go to Kaneshi for bus to do whatever is there. You should apologize to Hearts family. Retract what he said. Thank you. Yes.
I didn't
of
say
course, I think I agree with him. You didn't add your name and where.
The bus that they are using is the Kaneshi bus.
So you see, some of these fans, they are the reason why the club don't go forward. If a club like Hearts of Folk buys a new bus and you are happy.
This one says, please, is it and Bruno Fernandes, who is better? Wow, you have to be a better judge of it. And let me read the last one, and then I think this one says, I'm enjoying your show. Keep it up, dear. Okay, thank you for watching us today. Our time is up. I can't read any of your messages again. And thank you guys for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
Happy birthday to Elizabeth Bukari of 37 Military Hospital.
Oh,
a very good friend.
I know.
Why did you add a very good friend?
Nobody has asked you to explain
exactly.
Sign up.
Nobody has asked you to explain it.
All right, and a very happy Valentine's Day to all our fans as well. And a Swift Show Africa, Swift Africa is being launched today at our premises here. So if you live around Abelempe, just join us here and then let's all have fun. Thank you for watching us. See you again same time next week. Bye.